Hi, my name is Wednesday, and welcome to my video covering the Age of Wonders 4 meme contest. This is a contest to help celebrate the new DLC Empires and Ashes, which is coming out on November 7th. I wanted to talk a little bit about the inspiration behind my submission in this video, but I also wanted to talk about a few other things which were brought up during my last MP this past weekend. Some people had seen that the devs were talking a little bit about phase and spelljammers in the official Discord. So I wanted to cover those mechanics because I think that's like a really interesting tidbit of information, but not quite enough to make a whole video on. So we'll talk a little bit about those mechanics and then get more into the inspiration behind my submission. I really like how this image came out in the end. But yeah, without further ado, let's talk about the change to phase. Phase is now going to be a 6 range full action. That's quite a bit different than what it used to be. I've got I think the minion art database here up with the Banshee, which is one of the units that had the phase ability. So did phase beasts and unicorns. The Banshee could phase at a range of 4 hexes with a action that took, I think, 1 point and left you with 1 point. So you could move to the edge of your movement range, go another 4 more hexes away. So that'd be like 5 plus 4, you could be able to go 9 hexes from where you would start and still be able to do an attack. If I'm understanding what Jordy said here correctly, it sounds like it's going to take a full action, so you won't be able to move from your starting position before you can try to use your phase, and then from there you can only move 6 instead of 9 hexes away. That's quite a significant reduction in mobility. And I think with the way that works on unicorns, that will make it so that you will be able to get your ranged units out of danger, out of pinned to get a powerful attack off, like a single action attack. I think there's a couple unicorn units that work like that. I can't remember if the crossbow unit, the Arbalist or something like that, they get a mounted unit, but I think they might. Um, what else can we say about phase here? I'm not sure if this type of rework will apply to all the abilities that allow you to teleport across the map, like Blink or Demon Step or Quick Phase. I think is another pretty good one. I think that one's a free action, so I think it might be the same, but that's something that I want to look into pretty quickly soon after the Empires and Ashes expansion comes out. That'll probably be like one of the first videos that I make, just talking about all the different versions of phase and how they have changed or gone worse or improved. I believe I saw somewhere that the devs think that this full action 6 range phase is an actual upgrade, a buff, not a nerf. But I agree with Walker here. I think it will actually end up being pretty healthy for the phase um, abilities. It does sound like Walker was slightly concerned about Phase Beast getting it, although I don't quite understand why that would be a problem with Phase Beast and not the others. So if somebody could explain that to me in the comments below, that would be much appreciated. Appreciative? I don't know what I'm saying. Words are hard, especially early in the morning. It also sounds like Mage Bane is going to be unchanged. That should really be coming after the screenshot here about spelljammers, because Mage Bane's act a bit like a spelljammer. Spelljammers are now going to have an increased cost to spells that are used by, I think, an enemy. Yeah, enemy spells cost 100% casting points in combat in the domain where the spelljammer is, which is awesome. A lot of people were just banning spelljammers because it's pretty tough to deal with the fact that you can't cast spells when an enemy can cast spells. So I think this is going to be great. I think it'll make the interactions on Spell Ward, which acts like an aggressive spelljammer, a lot more interesting and more useful in multiplayer. I feel pretty bad about taking away somebody's ability to just cast any spells whatsoever in their own city, defending their own capital. Um, but yeah, it sounds like the Mage Bane, since it's kind of like a hard unit to get a hold of, I think you can get it through Astral Rifts with Call of Chaos, the Chaos Empire skill that gives you guys for clearing things. And if you get that, then you're going to have a very, very useful unit that basically acts like a mobile spelljammer, or like the way spelljammers are currently working, or are how they used to work before the Golem update slash Empire and Ashes expansion. And yeah, I think that's everything I had for the mechanics that I saw people discussing in my Discord and on the other Discords. So let's go back to the meme ideas slash inspiration. So as you probably could tell, I was inspired by the Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme where Charlie's got a conspiracy in the mailroom, or he's uncovering a conspiracy in some corporation he's working out of. I think it's a pretty funny scene. Um, I first started off by saying, okay, Reavers remind me a lot of the word Reapers, kind of like how the Archon rubble slash, I think the seals here look a lot like the void tech landmarks in Age of Wonders Planetfall. And I have a theory that these games are more closely tied to each other than the lore immediately points out. I think that maybe the Age of Wonders fantasy world is a precursor, or what came before the Age of Wonders Planetfall world, and that was mostly inspired by the fact that the shadow demons from previous Age of Wonders games look a lot like the Kirko in Age of Wonders Planetfall, and they share a lot of similar skills and abilities and descriptions on top of that. It's not just that the units look the same, they work and act the same. And then, of course, once I post this, somebody pointed out to me that there's a unit in the assembly roster that is called a Reaver. So maybe there's another layer to this that I missed when I first came up with this idea. Maybe the conspiracy goes deeper than just the RPRs, the Reaper type units. I think RPR is like a brand or something in Planetfall, and they made these really cool machine uh, robots that were designed to hunt down a cult of psychic people. And the Reavers, I think, are supposed to be anti-magic. So, psychic in Age of Wonders Planetfall, that kind of acted a lot like magic. So it seems like they were both anti-magic factions. One could have evolved into the other, or been like a precursor that shared some of its similar technology and like philosophies too. Something that came later on. I also thought that it's interesting that Reavers seem to be inspired a lot by conquistadors, and the Star Union in particular seems to be inspired by Rome, but that timeline doesn't quite make sense to me. The conquistadors came after Rome, but I don't know. It doesn't have to line up perfectly. Maybe that's part of the theory is there to throw you off. It's just like a red herring, right? I'm sure you could say some things about the laser rifles and how the Reavers have guns, and Age of Wonders Planetfall had a lot of units that had guns, but I don't know. That's pretty much all I got to. I guess you could also say the Astral Sea reminds me a lot of Void in Age of Wonders Planetfall, and I couldn't quite come up with a comparison between the Scout and something in um, Age of Wonders Planetfall, but there's a lot of floating things like the Assembly Scout that doesn't look too terribly different. It's probably more like the Oathbound one, because I think the Oathbound one could apply precog, kind of like how the observers can do uh, marked. They can mark units. So let's see, what does the Oathbound Scout look like again? It's been a little while. It's a circle. It's a circle. It's just spinning this way. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk in this video. Everything I wanted to talk about in this video. If you have anything else you want to add to my theories, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'll see you around. Have a good one.